This is your one and only 𝐈𝐸𝐻81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another informational Valheim video. There are some huge changes coming to the fishing system in Valheim, and today we're going to talk about them. Let's get to it. So we're going to start off by taking a look at the patch notes, and then we'll take a deep dive into a few of these changes and how they might affect your fishing gameplay. So to start off, we have a new item, the fishing hat. Fish no longer despawn when far away. Fish found in ice caves now respawn correctly. High tier fish now give slightly more raw fish, and there's now a small chance for fish to give players some extra materials when they are successfully reeled in. This next one is absolutely huge, and that is fishing bait is now returned if pulled in without a fish or when recasting. This means you can cast and cast all you want and you will no longer waste bait. This is an absolutely phenomenal change and a very welcome one. Fishing bait recipes now take basic fish bait instead of the previous biome fish. So this change is pretty significant because beforehand you had to catch the fish from the previous biome in order to be able to fish in the next biome. This made the progression somewhat tiered. Now it's still tiered because you still have to unlock the bait for the biome, which means you need to be in the biome, but because it takes the basic fishing bait and a trophy, this means in order to unlock the recipe, you should only need to have touched basic fish bait and then whatever trophy corresponds with that bait, because that's what makes the recipes for each of these individual baits. So for example, the sticky fishing bait, which allows you to catch swamp fish, needs the abomination trophy and basic fishing bait. So once you have found the trader and you have purchased basic fishing bait and you kill an abomination and get its trophy, you will be able to use this bait. This is really nice because this means that you don't have to fish in a biome that you don't want to fish in and catch fish that you don't really care about in order to progress through the fishing system. You just play the game normal and collect trophies as you normally would, and then buy some basic fishing bait, and eventually you'll be able to fish in whatever biome you want to fish in. Fishing bait recipes and the fishing bait sold from the trader is now 20 instead of 40. This change was made due to the fishing bait return change mentioned above. Can't really say that I like this change, but I understand why they did it. The game was balanced around losing fishing bait every time you cast the reel beforehand, so they had to give you that much more. Now you will get it back and you can cast as many times as you want, and you're pretty much guaranteed to catch a fish per bait, so this kind of makes sense. I'm just greedy and would like more fish for less price. Fish will now try to escape when hooked. Fish will wobble and splash in the water when they try to escape, which increases the stamina usage when pulling in. When they are not trying to escape, the stamina usage for pulling in is reduced. So basically here they just made a little bit of a mini game. You'll see the fish wobble and splash as you see on screen, and when it's doing this you use more stamina, so you don't want to reel them in when they are putting up resistance. You want to wait until they are not resisting and then you reel them in. But there is a trick that you can do, which we'll talk about here in a minute, that will allow you to reel in fish every time with ease. Tetra can now spawn at higher levels correctly. Tuna now only spawn in the ocean biome. Higher level fish only jump in the ocean biome, and they slightly increased skill gain when fishing. First, let's take a look at the fishing hat and talk about it. So in order to be able to craft the fishing hat, you will need to have caught all of these different fish, because there are two different recipes for the fishing hat. Either one of these will work, but you need to catch a variety of fish in order to gain the recipe and craft it. What's more, in order to upgrade it, you also need to catch these fish again, and it escalates each time you want to upgrade it. It's not really worth upgrading. All it really does is change the durability and the armor value on it. You're really going to want this hat for the stats that it gives, and that is plus 22 fishing and plus 22 your swim ability. Plus 22 swim isn't going to come in handy all of the time, but there are some situations where you may want it if you decide to swim for whatever reason, and we may find it more useful in the future when they flush out the swimming ability and water play a little bit more. However, the plus 22 fishing is absolutely insane and very welcome, because the higher level your fishing skill is, the less stamina you use when reeling in fish. So this is absolutely fantastic. And it's going to be worth hunting down these fish in order to get this. By the time you are able able to craft it, you should be relatively already pretty high in the fishing skill, meaning that this is just going to put you that much more over the top, making fishing even easier. Next, let's talk about the slightly increased amount of fish you get for higher levels of fish. Personally, I still feel like this needs a little bit more fine tuning. You don't get a whole lot of extra fish for the higher levels. As you see me going through these boxes here on the screen, you can see I have some level 3 fish and some level 1 fish, all of different tiers, and the difference isn't really that much. 1 to 2 extra, in my opinion, really doesn't make these fish that more worthy of going after. It's nice, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it could be bumped up a little bit more. The items that you get for catching fish is another story entirely. This is relatively interesting. If you take a look here at the screen and the boxes that I'm showing on the screen, these are the amount of fish that are caught, and this is the items that I gained from catching these amount of fish. The interesting thing here is that you can actually throw these fish into a small pond that doesn't have any fish in it, that isn't connected to anything, and refish them for a chance to gain these items every time you recatch them. Is this worth it? I don't really think so, because the items are relatively lackluster in some cases, but for some items, for example chains, which are a reward for catching the giant herring, may be worth farming these fish over and over again. Chains can sometimes be a bit of a pain in the butt to get, and some people just don't like the swamp biome. So if you manage to catch one of these and you throw it in a little pond and fish it over and over again, this could be an effective way to farm chains. And I realize that some people may be like, well, I'm gonna have to spend gold in order to buy bait, and I'm essentially going to be wasting bait because I'm not going to be getting a chain every time. Yes, this is true, but the game needs some gold sinks. I, for one, ended up with more gold than I knew what to do with the last time I played through, and I would have been okay with wasting a bunch of gold on this. This may change in the future. We may have better gold sinks, but for now, I'll take what I can get. Now, I did not go through all of the fish. What you see here is just a small sampling to give you an idea of some of the rewards that you can get for fishing now. Next, let's talk about the new mechanic for them trying to get away. So this can be a bit of a pain because it's very random when they try to escape the line and cause you to burst through a chunk of your stamina. However, this can easily be overcome by not having to reel fish in as far. Fish will come to the bait. So the easiest way to go about fishing is to not cast the line out very far, or if you do, reel it into the shore relatively quickly and allow the fish to bite close to the shore. Once again, the fish will come to the bait if they are close by. Then you don't have to reel them in very far, and you can just reel in through them doing the pull mechanic without any issue if you've eaten decent stamina food. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, yeah, but we get experience for fishing based on reeling in the line. And yes, this is true. The interesting thing though now is that you can cast your line and not waste bait. So you can literally cast your line out onto the dry land and reel it in and gain fishing experience. You can just rinse and repeat this over and over again as many times as you need to because you won't lose the bait. So now you have a situation where leveling fishing while actually trying to catch fish doesn't really matter so much because you can level while not trying to catch fish. And then when you're trying to catch fish, you just focus on the easiest way to catch fish. Overall, I think all of these changes are an absolute improvement to the fishing system, and I really like the way the fishing system is evolving, and I can't wait to see them fine-tune it and tweak it and add more to it. Let me know what you all think about it down there in the comment section. As always, I'm eager to hear your all's thoughts, and if you found this video helpful and informational, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for some more Valheim content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.